Welcome to News World Today. To see more updates, subscribe channel please. Robert Mugabe resigns, thousands flood Zimbabwe streets as president steps down. Robert Mugabe has resigned as the president of Zimbabwe after a coup pushed the dictator and his wife Grace Mugabe from power. After 37 years in power, Mugabe was set to be impeached by his own party ZANU-PF after being overthrown and placed under house arrest a week ago. But the former president is believed to have instead handed his resignation to the Speaker of the House, ending his long-term rule of the former British colony. A new leader is expected to be in place by tomorrow while the parliament work to legally expedite the process. Mugabe did not recommend a successor as part of his resignation. Wild celebrations broke out in a joint sitting of Zimbabwe's parliament as Speaker Jacob Mudenda announced Mugabe's resignation and suspended the impeachment procedure. Cars blasted their horns in the capital Harare as thousands jubilantly poured onto the streets to celebrate the termination of his presidency. Some carried signs with pictures of Army Chief Chiwenga and ousted Vice President Mnangagwa as they amassed in the city center. In his letter of resignation, he said, "I, Robert Gabriel Mugabe, hereby formally tender my resignation as President of Zimbabwe with immediate effect. My decision to resign is voluntary on my part." He added he had resigned to allow smooth transfer of power. The coup came soon after Mugabe sacked his vice president Emmerson Mnangagwa, also known as the Crocodile, who had been engaged in a succession battle with his wife Grace Mugabe. Mr. Mnangagwa, who is now the frontrunner to take over from his former ally after taking over the leadership of ZANU-PF, has said that he plans to return to Zimbabwe from political exile abroad. The party's chief whip Love Mormatic said he was very happy Mugabe chose to step down of his own accord, adding the process could have ended in serious embarrassment. Mugabe has been in power since the country announced its independence in 1980, and has been accused of using violent torture to silence his opponents. Faced with a revolt in the mid-1980s in the western province of Matabeleland, Mugabe sent in North Korean-trained army units to wreak havoc on civilians. Human rights groups say 20,000 people died, mostly from the tribe of opponent Kamos and Abele. Mass graves were discovered shortly after, prompting accusations of genocide against Mugabe. The highly educated autocrat once boasted he had a degree in violence after crushing political dissent in the country. Mugabe also presided over economic catastrophe in the country, leaving citizens 15% poorer on average than they were when he assumed office. And earlier this week he was accused by UK officials of guiding the country into an unprecedented economic tailspin over the last 15 years. The decision was welcomed by Prime Minister Theresa May, who said it gave the nation a new opportunity to strike free from the autocrat's regime. In a statement she said, "The resignation of Robert Mugabe provides Zimbabwe with an opportunity to forge a new path free of the oppression that characterized his rule. In recent days we have seen the desire of the Zimbabwean people for free and fair elections and the opportunity to rebuild the country's economy under a legitimate government. As Zimbabwe's oldest friend, we will do all we can to support this, working with our international and regional partners to help the country achieve the brighter future it deserves." A spokesman for the Prime Minister added, "We felt Mugabe had lost the support of people of Zimbabwe. This could provide an opportunity to move forwards." His resignation follows pressure from both within Mugabe's regime and from international powers. Last week Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson tweeted, "UK and South Africa agree Zimbabweans must be able to decide their own future in free and fair elections in line with Constitution. Authoritarian rule should have no place in Africa." To more updates subscribe please.